Hey guys, Thetcglover here, how are you doing today? So today's video is going to be talking about set rotation in Yu-Gi-Oh! Now it's not going to be a generic video on set rotation because to be honest, I think most people have realized that set rotation does exist, and basically that comes in the form of the power creep, where older decks get pushed out for newer ones, okay, and everyone knows what that means, so we're not going to go into too much detail about it. We do know that set rotation does exist to some degree. Now this is talking about exactly how they do it and exactly what I have discovered that may actually blow your mind, but may not at the same time. It may just go, oh, I already knew about this stuff. However, if you don't identify this kind of thing, then you're going to go forward, and then when it actually does hit you like a train, you're actually going to go, oh my god, I've invested money into something that's going to make me lose money. I've actually realized that I've not identified the format properly, and maybe you don't even plan your deck properly because you didn't realize exactly what was going to be represented at different tournaments and so on like that. So we know that in Duelist Alliance back in August 2014 we received this set which managed to power creep out every other single archetype and deck that existed prior to that. So before Duelist Alliance came out, we had Primal Origin, which had Madolches, which had Sylvans, and then we also had previous decks from other years like Fire Fist, which came out the year before that. We still had Dragon Rulers, which still existed for a while. We still had Gigias, we still had Mermails, we still had a whole bunch of different decks that existed a couple of years before that. But you know what? Konami was saying, we don't want that anymore. We don't want to be creating decks which manage to stand the test of time for 2 years, okay? So every deck that you see competing in the formats now is actually much more recent than they used to be. Now, in the past, it used to be 2-year-old decks being able to compete with very recent decks, and it would actually hold their own. It'd be a very interesting fight. How can Megatins be released and they not affect their sales? Because you think when Megatins come out, you realize that they're producing a tin that has all the old archetypes from the last year, and now you're thinking those archetypes are still relevant, they're still really good. You know, they're like Tellarknights, for example. When the Megatin comes out this year, so Tellarknights are still relevant. Shadows will still be relevant. Burning Abyss will still be relevant. Cleavethought still relevant. Infernoid still relevant. So how are these decks? How are they going to be in a tin? How are they going to make Konami money? Like, Konami going to lose money by not having by saturating the secondary market. It's like every person's going to be able to play really strong decks, and it's going to stop their future decks from being able to compete. So how is this going to work? But what I realized is that Megatins actually do not affect their sales. They actually sell the product and they make a lot of money, but in terms of future products, they actually don't lose any money whatsoever. But the only way that they can release Megatins and not lose money is because of one simple reason: because Konami are creating a vacuum. Okay, they've never done this before, but ever since Duelist Alliance they have managed to create a vacuum. Now if you realized that hat type decks, you know, Konami decks, not Konami decks, non-Konami decks where they're made by the player base, these decks do not exist anymore. Every deck that comes out is an archetype, okay, and you cannot build your own personal interesting little cool deck because they just cannot function properly against the top decks of the meta, because the top decks of the meta are all archetypes and they really are incredibly strong compared to what singular cards on their own do. Konami are creating a vacuum for every year for the regional season. So now the regional season is starting at the end of this month. We're now going to be seeing a vacuum from now all the way up to August 2016. So every deck that you know of now, which is Shadow, Tellarknights, Cleavethought, Burning Abyss and Necros, are going to be dead in almost a couple of months. Okay, Konami cannot afford to allow those decks to survive beyond the Megatin for more than a couple of months. You get some fun out of it, okay? You get some enjoyment, that's great. As far as I'm concerned, and as far as Konami is concerned, you are going to be able to you're going to be forced to drop those decks, and you're going to have to play a much more relevant recent deck for the next regional season. Because it's August 2015, we know that Clash of Rebellions is actually the brand new vacuum. Okay, it starts off the next regional season and it's going to have a whole bunch of decks like Ignites, Red Eyes, Arrow Mages, but they're not really relevant. But as we go forward, including Dimension of Chaos, we're actually going to start seeing some very strong power creeping decks. These decks are going to completely wipe out Shadows, Tellers, Cleavethoughts, Burning Abyss, Necros, and there is nothing you can do about it because Konami are creating a brand new vacuum here that is going to force you into playing new decks. Okay, everybody knows that when the tournament, the regional season was over for the last one, everyone after Nationals was forcing all these old decks, you know, like Tellers, Cleaforce, Burning Abyss, blah blah blah. They were forcing them onto players because they're saying, buy my shit so I can buy new stuff later, because I cannot keep this stuff because the Megatin is going to make it super cheap, and also that these decks are going to be terrible after maybe like November, okay? Because by the time we got to next challenges, almost every old deck was completely dead. Okay, there was nothing that could be done about it. Duelist Alliance was still relevant. Cleaforce came into the ring, and it kind of just created this vacuum. Okay, so I think by this point you started to understand what I'm trying to say here. After that though, after this vacuum is over, okay, once we get this set, which is Clash of Rebellions, and then we get Dimension of Chaos, and then we get the next two sets after that, August 2016 will create a brand new vacuum, and every deck that we know, like Ignite, Clownblade, Magispectors, Greydor, even the Pendulum Magicians, which come out in December 2015, those decks are all going to be dead. They're all going to be completely wiped out, and it's not because of the ban list, it's because they're going to be creeped out by a bunch of new decks. But, okay, this is it, right? This all comes down to this one point, okay? The reason why this is bad is because it jumps the power creep faster than anything else that Konami has ever done before, okay? In the past, when a deck was really, really strong, one deck managed to triumph super high compared to other decks like Telidad, okay, like Dragon Rulers. Konami just said, absolutely not, you are dead right now, get out of my game. Okay, so Telidad was one of those decks that was created by the player base rather than created by Konami themselves. So that kind of deck got emergency hit because Konami was like, whoa, 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 we can't allow this to survive. Okay, no way. The reason why these vacuums are bad is because they power creep the game faster than ever before, and in the past when one crossed the line, Konami stopped it. Okay, but when an entire group of brand new decks are pushing forward the power creep beyond what Konami has ever managed to do in the past, okay, then they will not get hit because they now set the new bar. Okay, this bar, okay, we have Shadows, Tellers, Cleaforce, everything up here, everything down here, sorry, and they're all going to be untouched. Okay, eventually Cleaforce Scout will go back up to 3 and no one is going to care because you are forced into playing these much more recent decks because there is no way that Konami can make money out of this game unless they make you play the 2 or 3 most recent sets. And of course you know about that already, but the fact is that creating a vacuum will allow Konami to really monitor exactly what decks are representing themselves in tournaments, and they can ensure that they get the most amount of profit out of you. Playing old decks is not what they want, playing new decks is what they want, simple as, but of course doing it in such a manner, such a violent manner, aggressive manner, is what will get you and will get them money, what will get you to conform to new decks. So there you go. So I hope you understand my point of view on this. If you don't agree, definitely go down to the comments, but if you do agree, then definitely do tell me about it, what you think about it, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. So don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Don't forget to give me a follow on Twitch in my description below, and don't forget to go and like my Facebook page if you haven't already. So thank you for watching, guys, and I'm going to have to go and spend some time with my girlfriend. So thanks for watching, and until next time, the Thetcglover is out.